We sat by the window at Rue Cafe, where the sunlight was honest. Claire always liked their open layout, polished concrete espresso with attitude. She stirred her coffee too long. Look, I know you're upset. But honestly, I think you're overreacting. I looked up, nodded her past her over her shoulder, where the afternoon blurred. I am. Her smile was tight. She crossed her legs, perfectly manicured fingers curling around the mug. You're not seeing this clearly. It wasn't personal, right? She leaned forward. You're smart. You know how these things work. Decisions have to be made fast sometimes. I held my cup but didn't drink. It wasn't a decision you made. It was a decision you hid. Claire's lashes fluttered just once. Oh, come on. That's not fair. You pitched the Southeast proposal, mine. She tilted her head. You weren't ready to lead that. Yet, I wasn't asked. Her mouth twitched, and if you were, you would have said yes, even now. You're not exactly emotional. She paused. That's not what I meant. It's exactly what you meant. She set the mug down too carefully. I'm trying to help you understand this without making it worse. You already made it worse. I'm just sitting in it now. Claire's voice lowered. You know. I respect you. You signed your name over my work. She shrugged. It was a team effort. I raised one eyebrow. You changed the title slide, took out my name. That wasn't a team decision. A beat of silence, then she laughed, soft and condescending. God. You're acting like this is some kind of betrayal, isn't it? Claire looked around. Like the word embarrassed her. You need to get a grip. You're making this about something it's not. I set the cup down. Tell me what it is about. Then? I stepped up. You froze. I kept the deal from falling apart. You stepped in after I was sidelined without explanation. You knew the client wanted me in that meeting. They needed confidence. You were rattled with everything going on. Don't. I'm saying this because I care. You've been spiraling since the layoffs. You don't see it. But I do. I've been covering for you. I didn't ask you to, no. You didn't. That's the point. Her gaze searched mine as if waiting for me to crumble. Instead, I nodded once. You done? Claire blinked. What? I mean, is this the part where you finish your coffee and walk away feeling like the noble one? She stood up too quickly. Jesus, I didn't realize you were this petty. I repeated. The word sounded delicate coming from her. I tried to explain. But clearly you're too far gone in your feelings. You're right. I pushed my chair back slowly. Thank you for the clarity, she scoffed. Don't twist this into some dramatic betrayal. We work in strategy, not kindergarten. And strategy doesn't require integrity, right? Claire folded her arms. Grow up. I smiled then. Not bitter, just still. I already did. That's why I see you now. Her mouth opened, then closed. She reached for her bag and slung it over her shoulder. You'll regret turning this into a war. I stood across from her. Even height, even voice. I don't want a war. She tilted her head again. Then stop acting like a victim, no. I stepped past her. I'm just not pretending you're a friend anymore. She didn't follow, didn't call after me. The door closed behind me with a soft click, and just like that, the numbness arrived, quiet, clean. Not rage, something colder. Clarity. The subject line was nothing FWD. Southeast expansion notes, but the body hit like a slipped mask. Third line down, Claire. Brilliant work as always. This pitch has your fingerprints all over it. Liam's signature trailed below. My name was in the second attachment. Her version of the deck. Every chart identical, except the title slide. She replaced mine with hers. No co-credit, no mention. I didn't move. Not for hours. The next morning, I stood outside Liam's glass-walled office until he looked up. Got a second? I asked. He smiled. For you, always. I closed the door behind me. I read the Southeast deck. Impressive, right? Familiar? He leaned back. You were copied on the last revision, weren't you? I was. But I never sent you the original. His brow lifted. Claire did. I nodded. She forwarded my draft, replaced the name. There was a pause. A flicker of something behind his eyes, awareness, maybe guilt. Then it vanished. I assumed you were working together. We weren't. Liam folded his hands. That's a serious claim. It's not a claim, it's a fact. Check the metadata. He exhaled slowly. I'll take a look. I turned to leave. Wait. He said. Why didn't you bring this up earlier? Because I only found out last night. His voice dropped. This could get messy. I didn't make the mess. I left him staring at his monitor. 2 hours later, Claire appeared at my desk like a perfume I no longer wore. You wanted drama, she said quietly. Congratulations. You sent the email. You dug through a thread not meant for you because you forwarded it by mistake. She leaned in. You're going to torpedo both of us over a slide title. It wasn't a slide title. You think Liam cares whose name was on it? I think he's starting to. Her laugh was dry. You think this ends with him backing you? He's not stupid. He'll protect the stronger bet, and that's you. I closed the client with my strategy. Claire's eyes flicked to the hallway. You're emotional. You're making this ugly. I'm being accurate. She stepped back. You're going to regret this. I stood. I already do. Claire tilted her head like I was a disappointing student. Let it go. No. This could have stayed quiet. You could have stayed honest. She didn't speak after that. Just walked away like I was something beneath her. I sat down again, opened the email thread, hit print. The office was quiet for midweek. People had started avoiding me not out of malice, just discomfort. Like I was a mirror they didn't want to look into. Marissa slid a file across my desk without a word. What's this? Her eyes didn't meet mine. Claire's red lines, the original timestamps. She told legal the draft came from her hard drive. It didn't. I opened it slowly. Why are you giving me this? Because I hate liars. And because watching her win makes me nauseous. You're not doing this for me. No. I'm doing it because I like sleeping at night. I flipped the pages, meeting notes. Slack screenshots, a timeline of edits I never approved. She's been building her own story. I murmured. Marissa crossed her arms. With your bones. Yeah. She thinks no one will question her. She's not wrong. You're the quiet one. You don't play loud. Loud doesn't equal strong. Marissa leaned in. But silent gets erased. You know that, right? I'm not silent. I tapped the folder. I'm collecting. She blinked. So you're going to make a move. I'm going to be ready. When it matters. She hesitated. For what it's worth, I think she's scared of you. She should be. Marissa almost smiled. You're scarier when you whisper. After she left, I sat with the file open. Each piece was small alone, but together they formed something precise. Not rage, not revenge, architecture. Later that day, in the break room, Claire passed behind me and poured herself coffee like nothing had shifted. You're really leaning into this martyr arc, huh? She said without turning. I'm not a martyr. She faced me. Then what are you? I held her gaze. Careful. She laughed, short and sharp. You're wasting your time. You think you're collecting facts, but no one's going to care. I don't need everyone to care. She stepped closer. Then what do you want? An apology? No. Vindication? No. Then what the hell is the point? I took a slow breath. To make sure you don't do it again. She tilted her head. To you? To anyone? Claire stared at me for a beat too long. You always had a self-righteous streak. I thought it was cute, naive, but cute. And I thought you were loyal. But I was wrong, too. She placed her cup down. You're not as pure as you think. You like the proximity to power. You just didn't think I'd reach for it first. I didn't answer. Go ahead, she said. Voice low. Burn us both. Down. I'm not lighting the match. Liam will side with whoever keeps the clients happy. And clients don't like liars. She blinked, just once. Then she walked out without another word. I closed my hand around the file. It didn't feel like fire. It felt like steel. The walls were bare. No pictures, no mirrors, no distractions. Just one desk, one chair. And a couch that I didn't use. The silence wasn't oppressive, it was precision. I answered one call in 3 days. Claire's name flashed across the screen. I let it die. At 6:04 a.m. The printer whirred to life, with a copy of the Southeast Proposal Version History. At 8:17. I emailed myself 14 attachments, flagged and labeled. By noon, the folder was growing its own bones. I organized by category, authorship, timing, fabrication, leverage. At 3:30 p.m., Liam called. I answered this one. You're hard to reach lately. I'm not avoiding. I'm preparing. Look, he said. I'm trying to keep this internal. I spoke with Claire. She says this is a miscommunication, mislabeling. At most, she had to dig deep for that one. He paused. She's asking for a meeting, mediation. I'm not interested in mediation. She says the deck evolved. That your original was a skeleton and she built it out. She built it from my spine. Her version has edits. Edits on my foundation. I can prove it. Prove it how? I stared at the laptop. Do you want the short answer or the hard evidence? I want this to go away. It won't, he sighed. You're on leave. What's your angle? My angle is clarity. Is this personal? She made it personal. I'm making it professional. Send me what you have. You'll get it when it's complete. Liam lowered his voice. Don't make this bigger than it needs to be. It's already exactly the size it needs to be. Click. I returned to the documents. Emails with stripped headers. Slack messages screen-capped before they could be deleted. Audio snippets from client calls with her voice using phrases lifted from my notes. Everything she took was laced with my fingerprints. By nightfall, the folder had 5 subcategories and a summary index. The next morning, another call. Unknown number. I picked up. I heard you're playing detective. Claire said, I'm not playing, you're on leave. People are starting to ask questions. Let them. She exhaled through her nose. You know how this ends, right? No. You're going to blow this up. Then what? Walk back into the office like a martyr? No. Then what's your plan? I don't owe you my plan. I covered for you when you broke down after the budget cuts. You didn't cover for me. You replaced me, I advanced the project. You rebranded theft, you're spiraling. She snapped, I'm cataloging silence. Then, you always thought silence was strength. It's not. It's weakness in disguise. Then, you shouldn't feel threatened. She hung up. That evening, I printed the last batch of evidence and stacked the files in order. My hands didn't shake. Claire arrived 10 minutes late, floating in cream silk and curated warmth. You look rested, she said, settling across from me. I wasn't sure you'd call. I smiled. Why wouldn't I? Well, she stirred her latte. Last time we spoke, you were dramatic, was I? Claire laughed softly. You've always been intense, it's part of your charm. But this little campaign, I didn't ask you here to talk about charm. She tilted her head. Then what? To give you the courtesy you never gave me. Claire blinked. I'm not following. I slid the manila envelope across the table. She hesitated, then opened it. Page 1, the proposal metadata. Page 2, the Slack logs. Page 3, her revisions. Timestamped days after mine. You've been busy, she murmured. I had time, you gave me plenty. She flipped to the end, face still and unreadable. What exactly is this? Documentation. For who? For whoever needs it. Claire exhaled through her nose. You're trying to destroy me. No. I'm giving you a moment to adjust. She looked up. To what? To the truth. Claire's voice lowered. This looks worse than it is. It's exactly what it is. I can explain. You've had chances to explain. You chose erasure instead. I didn't erase you. You replaced me. Her tone sharpened. I carried that pitch over the finish line. With my work in your hands, Claire leaned in. So what do you want now? An apology? No. Revenge? I didn't answer. She sat back. You? Won't win. I already have. You just haven't noticed. Claire stared at the envelope. What are you planning to do with it? I haven't decided. You want me scared. I want you aware. She narrowed her eyes. You know what this looks like? Like you lied. Like you're unraveling. You think people will side with you because you cry foul after the fact. I think people will side with evidence. Her hands clenched around her cup. You don't have the reach I do. I stood slowly. Maybe not. But I have the truth. She didn't stand, didn't follow. Just stared at the folder like it might burn her. Julia Morales didn't knock. She just opened my old office door and stood there, spine straight, expression blank. Can I help you? Claire asked. Conference room 3. Now. Claire looked up from her laptop. I have a call in 10. It won't take that long. They walked past my desk. Neither looked at me. They wouldn't have known to. I wasn't there, not officially. The audit had dropped that morning. Anonymous source, full documentation, dates, edits, misrepresented authorship. It moved through legal first, then Julia, then the partners. I watched from the floor below. Laptop open. Coffee cooling. Liam called. At 10:43. You sent it in anonymously? No. He paused. It wasn't you? I said I didn't send it in. But it was you. It was the truth. Silence. Then? You really don't want to play by the rules, do you? Which rules? The ones that keep people quiet. I outgrew those. The line clicked dead. Upstairs, Claire was still in the room. The blinds were closed. But I didn't need to see her to know the expression on her face. At 11:15. Marissa passed by and dropped a post-it on my keyboard. One word, shaking. At noon, Julia stepped into the elevator. She didn't glance at me until the doors closed. Then she said, clean execution. Thank you. You didn't sign anything. Smart. I know. Liam circling, trying to manage fallout. He'll pivot. He always does. She adjusted her sleeve. You knew I'd act on it. Yes? Why me? You don't owe Claire anything. No. Julia said, but I don't owe you either. I didn't ask for favor. I asked for policy. She looked at me for the first time. You'll need to decide soon. Decide what? How far you want this to go? The elevator stopped. She stepped out. I stayed. By 2 p.m. Claire's calendar was blocked for the rest of the day. By 4. Liam's assistant canceled to external meetings. By 5:03. Claire left the building alone. No coat. No smile. I stood at the window. Watched her vanish into traffic. It didn't feel like victory. It felt like alignment. The announcement came through internal email. Brief, sanitized. Claire Moretti was placed on leave, effective immediately. Pending review. No fanfare, no defense. Just a line of text that hit like a dropped glass. By noon. The office had shifted. People spoke in lower tones. Her name was a whisper, not a headline. Liam didn't stop by her office. He didn't even look at it. When someone asked him a project status, he said, "We're rerouting," and walked away. At 3:02 p.m. My phone buzzed. Claire. Can we talk? I locked the screen. At 4:11. She called. I let it ring. By 6 o'clock, she was no longer listed on the team portal. Her profile photo, smiling, confident, was replaced with a gray placeholder. The silence was colder than noise. At 6:23. Marissa knocked on my door. You heard? I read. She's gone. She's not gone. She's floating. Marissa shifted. People are guessing. No one's saying your name. But they know. Good, she steadied me. You okay? I'm focused. She nodded, then hesitated. I saw her leaving earlier. She looked small. I didn't answer. Are you going to reply? No. Why not? Because she didn't when. It mattered. At 7:46, another message please, just 5 minutes. At 9 o'clock. I deleted it. The next morning, Liam cornered me by the elevator. You made your point. It wasn't a point. It was a correction. She's humiliated. She earned it. He rubbed his jaw. You could have come to me sooner. You already knew enough. He sighed. So what now? That's up to you. I don't want this spiraling. Then anchor it. He stepped back. She's not the only one who played hard. I didn't lie. I didn't steal. I didn't fake collaboration and cash in. You let her hang. No. I let her see the ceiling. He didn't respond, just walked away, slower than usual. By the end of the week, no one used her name in meetings. Clients were reassigned. Her projects redistributed. The air cleared in places I didn't realize had been heavy. Claire was still gone, and somehow, I'd never felt more present. The office was smaller. White walls, one window, no nameplate yet. But it was mine. David Ingram met me in the lobby. Handshake firm, eyes level. You look like someone who didn't just start over. I'm not starting over. He smiled. You're just done pretending. We walked past glass doors and quiet desks. You read the file? I asked twice and you still called. That's why I called. I stopped at the threshold. You're not worried I bring chaos. I'm more interested in how you bring control. Same skills, different hands. He gestured me inside. Come on, you earned the clean desk. I stepped in. No leftover files. No shared drawers. No perfume from someone else's ambition. Liam wasn't happy, David said. Liam wasn't honest. He offered you the promotion. I declined. Why? Because I didn't want to carry someone else's blood on the keys. David leaned against the doorway. There's a kind of quiet power in walking away. There's clarity in not needing to stay. He nodded. Your references were sharp. Even the ones who didn't want to be. I didn't ask them to soften. Good. We don't hire soft stories, we hire sharpened ones. I turned the chair slightly, faced the window. I'm not here to compete. You don't have to. You've already been vetted by fire, and you're comfortable with that? I'm betting on it. He straightened. I'll give you the morning. Files are digital. Credentials sent, no ghosts in the inbox, no surveillance, no apologies when he left. I stood a moment longer, then I sat down, opened the laptop and typed my name, just mine. I wrote it by hand, not out of sentiment, just necessity. Typing felt too efficient. This needed weight. Claire, you won't read this. That's the point. I needed you once. I trusted you with things I didn't trust myself to say aloud. That version of me, the one who bent toward you like sun to glass, she's gone. You stole my work. That's the simple version. But really, you stole the space where I used to put my trust. The calls you stopped taking, the way your eyes shifted. In meetings when I spoke. How your smile held more calculation than care. Maybe you thought I wouldn't notice. Or maybe you hoped I'd notice too late. You were right about one thing. I was quiet. But not because I didn't see. I was watching the whole time. I used to believe you acted out of ambition. Now I know it was something smaller. Fear. You feared not being enough without someone else's words in your mouth. You feared that your charm alone wouldn't hold weight. And maybe you were right. Here's what I don't fear anymore: silence, distance, closure without applause. I'm not writing to shame you. I'm writing to stop carrying the version of me who asked why. Who thought friendship required forgiveness. It doesn't. Some endings don't need confrontation. Some people don't get a seat at the resolution. You don't get mine. May folded the letter, sealed it, never addressed it. Then I lit a match, watched the paper curl. The goodbye was quiet. Exactly how I wanted it. I stopped explaining myself. 6 months ago. Now, when people ask what happened at the firm, I say, it wasn't a fit. When they press, I smile. When they speculate, I let them. The truth doesn't owe everyone a seat. I moved into a smaller place, top floor, quiet street. No neighbors above me. I chose it for the light, not the square footage. Mornings are slow. Now, coffee without email, silence without tension. My work is clean, precise. I consult now strategy, risk evaluation, internal integrity audits. The irony doesn't escape me. People pay me to notice things no one wants to see. On Tuesday, a client's VP asked if I'd ever been in a toxic work environment. I said, once. She nodded. You seem bulletproof. No, I said, just well-armored at 5:17. That evening, I left the office, no guilt, no backpack full of other people's fires. At 7:40, I got a text from Marissa. Your name came up in a panel. They called you the one who doesn't flinch. I smiled just once. Wednesday morning, I caught my reflection in the elevator glass. Sharp blazer, uncompromised eyes. No trace of her dot at lunch. David called. You're a legend here, you know. Not interested in statues. He laughed. I'm serious. You've made more impact in 4 months than most do in 2 years. Because I'm not afraid of friction. You want more friction. I want more control. He paused. We're restructuring. I could slot you in higher. Would it come with politics? Only the kind you can bend? Send the contract. I hung up. No celebration. Just forward motion. Friday, I met an old contact for coffee. Ava Sterling. Senior partner at a competing firm. I thought you were done with the corporate grind, she said. I'm done with the performance of belonging. You're different, she said. Sharper, less polite. Polite didn't protect me. She leaned in. Would you ever go back to the firm, to any place that needs you to shrink to stay? No, I said. That woman's dead. Ava sipped her drink. I like the new one. I built her. Saturday. My neighbor knocked. New to the building. There to something. Messy hair and a borrowed smile. Hi, I'm Clara. I think your mail ended up in my box. I took the envelope. Thanks. She hesitated. I work in advertising. Agency side. It's brutal. No. You too, used to. She studied me. How'd you survive it? I met her eyes. I stopped asking to be understood. She laughed softly. That sounds lonely. No, I said. That sounds free. After she left, I opened the envelope, just a bank statement, no drama, no threat. That night, I poured a glass of wine and opened my laptop. A blank document blinks back. Title, Things I Know Now. I typed, 1. Intuition is not weakness. 2. Silence is not consent. 3. Loyalty must be mutual. 4. Power is not always loud. 5. You don't know anyone the soft version of your truth. Then I hit save, closed the screen. The city outside moved on without me. I didn't mind. I wasn't waiting to be chosen anymore.